Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings today. We have a trending news here for you. And the headline of the news reads, Chris Ngige slam Ndibo. Applaud Buhari says Southeast are not marginalized in any way. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube.
Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labour and Employment, has denied speculations that President Buhari-led government is marginalizing the Igbos. Speaking on the importance of the second Niger bridge to Buhari, Ngige said the president made the bridge one of his flagship projects of his administration. According to him, he also added that he also approved Enugu International Airport as one of them. I'm quoting him now. He said, the president, being a listening leader, granted our request and made that bridge one of the flagship projects of his administration. The same goes for the Enugu International Airport, but only international by name. The facilities were run down. The runway became one of the worst in Africa, according to an Ethiopian airline pilot who ferried us from Addis Ababa to Enugu in 2018. He told us that this is one of the worst runways in Africa. You can now know it was actually a death trap. The reason the president decided the FEC to close the airport so as to bring it to standard, he even approved 10 billion naira for the refurbishing of the runway and the landing and runway lights. A separate contract for arrival and departure terminals are being handled by a Chinese firm. As we speak, the Minister of Aviation has visited the site. From the clip he showed us, work is ongoing with the new contractors working hard to meet the deadline. Why am I going into all these details? It's because the people of the Southeast always feel they are being marginalized. Ngige said that the people of the Southeast were allegedly marginalized because an Igbo man or woman was not made Minister of Finance or Petroleum Resources, adding that the zone had everything during the former President Jonathan's administration with nothing to show for it. When you ask them, they say they are not being appointed as SGF, or that as Secretary General of the Federation, or that Ngige is not made the Minister of Works, Housing or Power or Health. Why it surprises me is that all those positions that are mentioned were occupied by Igbos under the PDP government, yet nothing spectacular was achieved for the Igbos. Under the PDP era, Southeast people had ministers of power, aviation. They got all the appointments in the world. Even the ones they gave them from that portfolio were abused. They also became Minister of Finance, coordinating Minister of Economy, Kojo Wela, representing Abia State. They also headed Health. Onyebuchi, Chukwu, Stella Odua, Chidoke, and Njeze were all in aviation, so I don't know what they're talking about. But the good thing again is that we are only one in FEC, established by Section 148 of the 1999 Constitution. President and Vice President hold regular meetings with ministers, and that sessions make us chief advisors to Mr. President.
All right, thank you very much. And before we go into further analysis, we'd like to read some of the responses of different persons, different Nigerians. And this one says here, you have always been a disgrace and disappointment to the Igbo nation. You are fooling yourself and playing to the gallery in order to be taken serious by your masters. No one is wishing Buhari evil, and he is at liberty to do whatever he wants to do. How many votes did you secure for him in Igbo land during the election to convince him that you can be trusted as an important voice in Igbo land? You are only begging for relevance, but don't forget that this regime will pass over one day like others before it. Shame on you. And another person saying, many Igbo seems to be the illusion, acting and reacting foolishly. No reasonable group can fault what Ngige said if their priority is the development of their zone and not just plain stupid politics. Ndibo, wake up and emancipate yourself from the mental slavery and manipulation by selfish politicians who do not care about the development of Igbo land when they are in power, only to rally us for protest and cry of marginalization. when they lose their juicy position, which only benefited them and their families. Reason, my people, reason well. Another person here said, Dr. Ngige is right, but you people have made up your mind to hate President Muhammadu Buhari for defeating Jonathan. Another one says here, sometime I can't understand my people. What Ngige said, if it is a lie, prove him wrong by telling us what we Igbos gain when we occupy a position as simple as that, instead of insulting. And the last one that we want to take is this one said, though I'm not an APC fan at all, what Ngige said is absolutely right. Tell me one thing that those our brothers and sisters in Jonathan tenure did for us. Wow. And I want to say that I would like to queue up behind some of the responses I've seen here, and which I believe, if you're objective enough, if you want to forget about the fact that we're trying to pursue something different, you will also tend to accept what Ngige has said, which I believe what he's saying is absolutely true. The first thing that I want you to take into consideration is who are the people that are governors in all the 5 southeastern states. Is it is it from South? Is it a Yoruba man that is a governor in Imo State? Is it a Hausa man that is a governor in Anambra State? Is it an Orubu man that is a governor in maybe in Enugu State? Absolutely not. Let's forget about that. Let's look at those who are representing us in the National Assembly, who've been given a constituency project money almost on a monthly basis. Is it that it's a Yoruba man that is representing a particular constituency in Imo State in the National Assembly? Of course not. Of course, no. They are our people, the people whom they before they left their homes, before they left their hometown, before they left the state, they knew the state of the state in terms of economy. They knew the situation of the state, that it was degrading, it was going down. So their own purpose there was to ensure that whatever thing that they are given to them, whether it's financial benefit for their constituency, they use it outright. But that's not what we are seeing. How about the governors? They only avail themselves to get enough monies into their pocket without doing things as expected. Some of the level of development that we've seen thus far in the 5 southeastern states are not just what we expected. Paying of salary is nothing to write home about, because it's the normal thing, it's a recurring expense. But we needed this government to take a long stride. That's different government, different governors in the southeastern state to take a long stride. We also expected that most persons who were appointed as ministers in different respects, especially in the Jonathan regime, they were supposed to correct a lot of things in the southeastern state just to prove that they are there for their own people. But they didn't do all of this. So you now realize that it's not the problem of the center. It's not the problem of, we've been overly marginalized. I think if you're talking about marginalization, I think the only place where you can really point out and say, from this point we've been marginalized, is just maybe leadership in the military and also presidency and vice presidency since 1999. Because from 1999 till date, an Igbo man has not been a president or a vice president. Some of them too, Minister of Defense. We've not seen a case of a Igbo man being there and all of that. But if you want to talk about minister or governor or whatever, they have been fully represented. The Southeast has been fully represented. In the National Assembly, they have been fully represented. So the problem is not about whether the Southeast is marginalized or not. The problem is that of bad leadership. The people who have opportunity to represent the interests of the Southeasterners are not the right people. They go in there just to fill their pockets with money. They go in there fulfilling the purpose of fulfilling, the interest of their party. The objective of their party becomes overly important compared to, what is going on in their individual state. Their individual state seems to be the least in their list of priority. They don't take their own problems seriously. And that's the problem we are having. if we want to leave, that area, for example, you said, okay, let's forget about the issue of leadership, bad leadership. Even individuals are not doing the things that they ought to do. Igbos have the best when it comes to human resources. If you really want to be truthful to yourself, one of the best. I'm not an Igbo guy, but I know that go to school, they come out with first class. They are the best. But when they finish all of this, some of them will take off to, a country outside of Nigeria and stay there and make merchandise of a lot of things and come back home, build a mighty mansion, go out again. I think it's high time, especially those who are business tycoons, those who are, good in academics and the likes. It's time to put our mental properties together and see how we can develop our state to attract people to come in to our states. Go to Imo State, you see beautiful houses there, you see beautiful things. But hey, it's the beauty of saying, man, we want to turn this place to Dubai is not there. There is no, that kind of push that will make other people look at the southeastern state to be an attractive place. They have all the potentials, they have everything within them, but they can't even create an environment that welcome, make people to come and stay. People just run in there, let me buy something and run out immediately. You can't go in there and feel at home and maybe a case of blending something like tourism and business together. If you blend tourism and business together, it gives the people, it makes the people look at that place just like a home, not just a business hub. Just a home that they need to come in, stay there and do business. These are some of the things that are really lacking. The people who are in government, they are not helping out. Bad leadership, the interest of their party is priority to them. They forget about the people that they left behind home and the people who voted them into this position or the people who helped them to be appointed into that position. But what matters to them is the objective of their party. And secondly, the governors are not even helping matters. They are just doing a normal thing that every other person, if granted opportunity, that's the same thing the person will do. The road network is zero, insecurity everywhere, issues here and there. Nobody is taking developmental stride that will cause people from afar away, international communities will begin to put an eye. I think fairly recently an individual came in and built, I've forgotten the state, but it's in Southeast, came in and built a very mighty medical facility, and I think it's going to be it has been already internationally recommended and people will be coming in. That's what we want. By the time people begin to see those things happening, they'll love to come around. So let's forget about this fight of, we have been marginalized. Yeah, we're looking towards that some days, for some time from now, we are going to, have the sovereignty as an independent state. But even as we are looking at that, let's look inward. Let's begin to work from inward out so that even the international community, they will look at us and say, hey, these guys are ready. They are ready to roll out and we need to support them. That's what we are expecting.
Let's be truthful to ourselves. Let's be objective. Let's leave sentiments and emotions from this. Let's look at this very critically. When it comes to Igbos and Southeasterners, the issue has always been a case of bad leadership. Let's be practical. Let's not make this thing let's bring it home. During the days and time of Owele Rogers Okorocha, he did a lot of things, but one of the keynotes, and which he proudly announces that he wants to preserve the culture of the people of Imo and Imolite, is by building statues like Zuma. And I ask a question. What has Zuma got to do with the Imolites? What culture is Zuma representing in Nigeria? How much more for the Igbos and the Imolites? Billions wasted. Now, it didn't stop there. It would have been taken with a pinch of salt if it was just building of statues. It didn't stop there. He even invited his relatives. It was not a dynasty where his relatives and his people occupied key positions. A typical example is the issue of opening a Ministry of Happiness. Really, Ministry of Happiness. So what is tourism and culture? What's it for? Whereby you have to open Ministry of Happiness so that it can be a way of siphoning money. See, well, let's be truthful and call a spade a spade. It's because let's not go far. Okay, maybe the issue of Rogers has gone. Let's bring it home. The governor of Anambra State, that's Obiano. It took a lot of cry by Nigerians here and there for him to listen to the fact that there are issues with road networks. Did it have to? Do people have to die? Do people have to lose their shops before Obiano took care of the roads? A typical example is what happened in the Chenja market, where people lost their lives, people lost their properties. Why? Because the road was bad. Tanker drivers, while they're driving the truck filled with fuel, fell, and there was loss of life. To worsen it, when they got to fire service, they said the tires were down, the tires were flat, there was no water in a tank, a vehicle meant that's supposed to be on standby for emergency. And I asked the question, will Buhari come down from Aso Rock to fill the tank with water, the tanks with water, and pump the tires to be ready for emergency? Let's be real. We are the architects of our own problems. I'm not just talking about Southeastern and Ceylon. I'm referring to Nigerians as a whole, as a nation. I'm using Southeasterners as a case study here. Now, it's amazing that they're now shouting marginalization. We can do this inside out. Like what my colleague has rightly said about somebody coming in to build a hospital that is internationally known. If you look very far, let's not go too far. Although the governors have a role to play, because if they have put the social amenities in place, the likes of, if you go to Lagos, there's so many beautiful markets in Lagos. It's not just one market. If you go to the southeastern state, and major market, is either Opi Iweka. If it's not on the market, it's Opi Iweka. If it's not, it's area. But in Lagos State, I'm talking about Lagos State as a state, we have so many major markets, like Ladipo, Yaba, Tejo, Alaba, Bega Market. All these markets are internationally known. If you go down to Lagos, if you mention these places, they are known. And 60 to 70% of people occupying, making it happen there are Igbos. Bring it home. Come back home. I know that it requires good network, security, facilities, all these things will make it happen so you can at least come back home. I understand, but at least make effort. Start coming home. By the time individuals start bringing effort, it doesn't take anything to become a Dubai of a state. By the time you do that, people on their own will come and begin to open their companies in the states.
All right, thank you very much. That's where we want to leave it. Please go to our comment section and let us interact. What's your